Thank you everyone for showing up. This is a very busy conference, and so I really appreciate you being here. And so before I start, I really need to get a few things out of my chest first. So first of all, this is the AI track, and I submitted the talk 7 months ago. So it's really hard to predict what's going to happen in 7 months. And also, change the content of your talk without changing the title is also tricky. Next time I learned some lessons. So about 3 weeks ago, I thought, I really don't want to talk about inference in the browser, as I originally intentionally did, because honestly, with AI, code is very cheap, and I think it's very easy to get a model running in the browser nowadays just prompting something. What could I talk about that is way more important nowadays, more in the news, and actually long-term, where the community is heading? So natural shift to agents. Also, the time counter is not working, so, and I'm a mess usually, so I'm gonna miss the deadline. So my team is actually currently working on agents and agentic tools and all of this. So perfect, let me talk about agents in the browser. So again, sorry in advance, this is gonna be more about agents than less about models. Now, really quick introduction, my name is Fabio, I've been around for forever, really feeling very old and all of that. So I've been in the community for a long time, I've been at Anaconda for also a long time. And I've had a few highlights. You may know me from AeroPython. I used to be chairman of AeroPython for some time. Maybe you heard of PyScript. I'm the creator of PyScript as well. And I'm very happy to work with a phenomenal team that helps work on those things and actually inspire me to keep creating new things. So before we start, can someone actually raise your hands if you think you know what an agent is? All right, about half, maybe 60%. Out of this crowd, how many of you think an agent is complicated? Okay, very few. Great. How many of you would be able to tell me the difference between a general agent and something like Codex or Cloud Code or Open Code? Oh, very few. Okay, so I'm mainly going to be talking about general agents, and probably most people, even working on those things, don't really know the difference. Like, we're all learning in this, and for that reason also, there's a lot of known standards, a lot of things that we still need to find out. So I will give my definition in this talk. It may be right, it may be wrong, maybe somewhere in the middle. And would love to talk more about it with y'all if you disagree or if you agree. Find me around the conference. I will be often in the Anaconda booth. So I'd like to think of an agent breaking it in 4 parts, really. You have a model, that is your brain, that thinks about things. You have your tools. Basically, it's the set of capabilities that you add to your brain to do stuff, to actually execute stuff. You have your context, which I like to think as a memory, as your long or short-term memory, or whatever. And then you have a loop that just connect those things together, right? So for the scope of the talk, let's put in all of that in the browser perspective. In the browser, what does a brain mean? Well, a brain can run anywhere, really. So in this case, you can run a model in the browser through WebLLM and WebGPUs. You can run on your local machine through Olama or other things. And you can also run, you just connect to your many providers like Anthropic, et cetera, et cetera. The tools really are usually your MCP servers, your skills, your Python code, et cetera, et cetera. Same thing applies to the browser. The memory, the context, you can manage in many different ways. I like to think it as just a big array of things. And then you have your loop that you can run in the browser with anything you really like. In this case, I'm running PyScript, but you can use JavaScript, WASM, and all of that. Also, big disclaimer, this presentation and the talk was heavily generated by AI, just so you know. And mostly because I think it's way more important for me to think about the concept, the content, and what I'm going to ship than actually the implementation. For the talk here, I don't really care about the implementation. If you're shipping code to production, you definitely should be looking at the implementation. So just as a reminder. Also, that's also the reason you have this thing here. 2 hours ago it appeared. Didn't have time before the talk, so imagine this is a fly on the screen. So to start with, what is an LLM? I think this is a fairly simple view of it. Just take it for granted. It's a magic box that thinks about things and give you answers. And hopefully it will give you the right answers. Now, a loop is a little more complicated or complex, but it's not really complicated, honestly. It's just an extension of an LLM, meaning you start from a prompt with intent from the user, you prepare your context to pass your LLM. It will be the prompt itself, maybe it's system prompt, maybe some documents, maybe some tools, the things that basically tell the LLM, hey, these are the things that you have to work with. You pass all of that to the LLM, it does its magic and says, cool, this is your answer. Or, hey, actually, to answer the question with the higher quality, can you call this tool to me, for me? Right? So the LLM does not call tools. It tells your agent to call them. So if I provide, and I'm going to show you in a second. And then once the tool is called, you have an answer from the tool. It actually adds the answer to the context again and send it back to the LLM and asks. And the LLM will think, am I happy with this? Can I generate an answer? And if the answer is no, it will ask you to do something else again for it until it reaches the stop instruction to say, no, my answer is done. Give the output to the user. So let's talk about the loop real quick. And I thought it will, I'm a little masochist, I think. Because every year I say I'm not going to do live demos anymore. And then every year my live demos are bigger and more important. So this whole talk is going to be more about the demo itself, right? And I'm going to show an agent in the browser using PyScript and Pyodide to run Python code. I will give the LLM Python tools that will run in the browser. I will give it MCP tools that will run on a server, on a local machine. And then it will call those tools and do something with it. I have 3 different examples. Also, so first question, where does the model run in this example? Well, I have 3 options, and I can select those in the demo itself. One of those is in the browser. I'm using a Qwen 2.5 model. And then I have a local model that I'm using one of our products, Anaconda Desktop and Anaconda Agent Studio, to run them. So I'm serving on a port, and I'll show you in a second. And then I have an option to actually access a remote API through Anthropic, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to call, because I think it's more interesting to show the local case, because we all use the remote all the time. And there's really not a lot of difference between the local and remote. You're just hitting an API, right? So another demo that I'll show is actually starting from a prompt and passing a file to the LLM, asking, hey, take this file, this CSV file with sales data, and give me a summary, et cetera. And then the last one, which I think hopefully we'll make in time, is actually I'm going to use a product that we are just shipping now called Agent Studio to create an agent locally. And it's going to save the files that make this agent a thing in my local machine. And then I'm going to basically mount my local folder into the browser and let my demo get all the agent information and actually run the model, run the agent in the browser, right? So why I'm doing this? To show that actually you can ship things in the browser, and the browser may be a good enough and really cool medium for you to ship your agents and to work in them. And there are pros and cons that we're going to go over in a second. So why I'm talking about this now? Well, in the last few months, things have shifted a lot, and local models have become really good. Browsers have been increasing support for those running those things natively. Better WebGPU support. You have a WebLLM that is quite stable as well, etc. Small models can do tool calling as well right now, which is great. The MCP ecosystem and skills and all of that has been really active. There's a lot of options. So it really is a good time. I'll go over this table later, considering what pros and cons and stuff like that. So let's dive into the demo. And let me see one thing. Awesome. I was actually, in full disclosure, my esteemed colleague told me a label was wrong in one of the examples, actually. And I replaced, can you see this actually? Maybe. Contrast is not great. But anyway, this is agent. It was called coordinator. And I changed the label, and then it stopped working. And okay, and my cache was caching the page. So I'm using now a incognito mode, but then I had to re-download all the model again. And it took me 2 hours to download Qwen in this network, but it just got it right. So hopefully, YOLO, if things break, I hope some of you have jokes and we can discuss. Anyway, let me walk you through this demo and show you the anatomy of the demo itself. View, full screen, good. So here on the top, I have model selection. If I select in browser, I will run a model in browser. If I select local, I will run locally. And remote will run remotely. These are just pre-built prompts that I will pass here to save me time. And then this is the real nice area. And this is just a user prompt area. You should be familiar with this. You type here. Magically, you receive answers. But one thing I thought would be interesting is actually to have a dev tools area where I can have logs and see what's happening in my agent. I can use this agent architecture diagram to see what's happening behind the scenes. I have a breakpoint toggle here that I can use to stop my execution in the agent for us to see the state, which I think is super important for us to understand what's happening behind the scenes. And then in this architecture side, you have the architecture that we'll highlight. I have the context area where I see the context that I'm passing back and forth between the LLM and the agent. And then also all the calls that I'm actually calling the LLM at any time. So let me get back here, toggle this back, and start with, I will actually run the local model. I'm using this Anaconda desktop to run a local model, and all I'm doing is just saying, I picked this model, I'm running on this address at this port, and then I'm running, the model is Qwen 3.8b. You can also download it at the Anaconda products page, etc. But the important part is, one second, actually this. So let me start. Actually, I'm not, sorry. I'm not doing the breakpoints right now just to make it faster. So as you see, it's basically calling the LLM, saying, hey, I'm waiting on the LLM to give me an answer. I passed the whole context. This is the context that we gave it. There's a system prompt saying you're a data analyst, blah, blah, blah. Go check this file at this location here. And now the LLM is still thinking. It actually basically said this empty box means it returned with a tool call, right? Saying, hey, I can't really give you an answer. I need to call this tool to get the file data. And then once it gets the file data, we pass it back which is this. We pass it back to the LLM, and then this is the answer that I get. Cool? Awesome. We'll go over, if you have questions, like let's ask later. And so the second, so in this case, my tool is local, meaning that I had a CSV file in the browser. The LLM asks to use the Python tool. That Python tool is in Pyodide and is actually not reaching outside of the browser to read from that file. And then it's getting the information back. This new example that I'm going to show you in a second basically gets two tools. One is a local Python tool that runs on PyScript and Pyodide that allows you to save a file. And it has two modes. One, save downloading the file, or the other mode is actually using a cool trick that Chrome gives us, which is you are able actually in Chrome to mount a local folder to a browser folder, let's call it this way. So every time you read and write in your browser process, it's actually reading and write from your local machine, right? Which is very powerful, means that you can actually build more agents, ship to your users without any installation needs and stuff like this, and let them actually explicitly give access to the local folder to do something, right? It's great in terms of security and distributing software. So let me activate it. The step. Okay, sorry. It started without the breakpoints. It should do the right thing now. So it basically got the prompt, sent it to the LLM. The LLM is thinking about what to do. And now it stopped, as you can see, and says, hey, the LLM decided to call one tool, the web search tool, and it's about to dispatch. The question actually was, hey, find me the top 3 climate stories from this week and save them to my notes. Great. Now let's say yes, go ahead. It's actually saying, oh, hey, I'm about to call the web search with these params. Cool, I'm gonna let it go. It responded back with the search results, etc. It's running on a local machine, it's caching the results, etc. for the sake of time. And actually, can you all see the text? Do you want me to make it bigger? Yes. Thank you. There you go. Better? Okay? Awesome. So next step, hey, one tool results, we just put it in the context. Now, hey, I'm about to send back the context to the LLM with 4 messages total. And this is the context with the tool call. Cool, go ahead, ask the LLM again what to do. And I really wish I had good jokes. I'm terrible at making jokes, so we're going to have to wait in an awkward silence altogether. You want to ask a question in the meantime? Yes. So the question was, if I have specific needs and I don't want to run the LLM in the browser, can I ship this without consequences? Is that? Oh, can we rely on the user's machine capability fully for those things? And the answer is, as usual, the more you get older, the more you say, it depends. Right, so I'll go over the trade-offs later. If it's a small LLM or a small problem, etc., yes, it should be fine. Or if you have control over their machines and things like this. Like, so for instance, in an enterprise settings, where you know all your machines are going to be at least this size, etc., this is a very easy way to distribute. You also can put guardrails and say, hey, you download, your browser is old or your system is old enough, you can run this. Make sense? Yeah, of course. So now it's calling the save to file tool with these arguments. And it's asking me, hey, you want to mount a local folder or download? I actually want to mount a local folder. So I'm going to go here and, I don't know, I'm going to put it dev PyCon example. New folder, empty, grades, select, And this is the browser saying, hey, this website wants to save to your local system. Do you want to allow it? Which is a great security guardrail, right? Allow it. Now it's the usual, hey, do we want to save changes to a folder? Yes, great. And if I go here and let's see, I want to keep this folder. Dev, we said, PyCon example. There you go. And these are my notes. Directly to the folder. I didn't have to download. I wrote directly from the browser to my folder. Actually, I didn't. The tool used by the LLM did, which is very important. Okay, going back here. Save, returned. We're going to pass back to the LLM saying, hey, I've done what you wanted. Are you done? And hopefully it will. Yep. And this is the end of the loop. And we should be good. All right. Final answer, end of the loop. Cool. Now, I would like to show you the coolest demo. If it works, which it should. If it doesn't, don't tell my employer, please. So this is Agent Studio, the project that my team is working on at Anaconda. It's really a studio to create agents and distribute agents and things like this. I'm not going to go over it, etc. But I will create a new agent call. I will actually use it to say, I had this prompt already. Can you create a new agent called Snoop the Python dev? That is a Python developer version of Snoop Doggy Dog, the myth, the legend. The agent should always be in character and impersonate Snoop, but be Pythonic. Name the agent Snoop the Python dev, because I tested earlier and I had Snoop dev, the dev. So hopefully the internet is not going to be too bad. Oh, of course, I knew it's going to happen. Let me retry. Otherwise, you're just going to have to trust me. Yeah. So sorry about that. Network is not great. So I will use the other one that I had, which actually, I will use this one, which is Snoop the Dev, that I created earlier. The cool thing is that all it does really is just create the agent files for us. So every agent that I have here is basically a folder with, so here agents, I have my previously created Snoop the Dev, and it has the agent YAML file, which tells, all the context, system prompt, all the context documents of that agent, etc. It has external things. You can create secure environments for that agent to run. But the important thing is that if I go back here in my example, and I basically, this third example allows you to create an agent just looking at a local folder, right? So my browser agent is like a neutral agent. And it says, hey, can you pass me the files to create an agent? So in this case, I will pass the Snoop the dev agent, select it, and now, actually, if I ask anything to it, it should respond just like Snoop, hopefully.
Is Anaconda Agent Studio available to the general public?
Yes, Anaconda Agent Studio is available through Anaconda Desktop. So if you and it's a free tool. So if you download Anaconda Desktop, it will basically install Anaconda Agent Studio for you and allow you to run it normally on your machine. Yes. So there you have it. It ran local, actually. So it created everything. I can go to the next step. We don't have any tools to be called. But in this case, I'm still running local. Actually, I want to show you all in the browser as well. So I'm going to, sorry. And you can see from the answer that it's actually the Snoop agent and talk like a Snoop. I wish I could talk like it. I barely speak English, so don't. So I remove step here just to make it faster. I selected in browser. I'm going to run the same example, but I will use another one, which is Fred. Fred is my Fred Flintstone agent that will speak like Fred and allow it to mount into that folder. Great. And there you go. And you can interact with it. Can you talk more about your family and friends? Okay, never mind. Sure, and it talks about Bedrock and Barney and Wilma, blah, blah, blah. But the cool thing is that this is actually, this is a full in local machine example, right? So if I turn off my Wi-Fi and say, this is a tricky question. Who's your favorite between Wilma and Barney? And the answer really doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm actually now running a local model without internet in my machine in the browser. And it may not be great for very, very complicated things, but for those type of questions or small problems or things that require small context, it is actually a very viable way to ship and distribute agents. Small models are becoming really good, and they are very capable. So I would encourage everyone to try it out. I'm basically out of time, but I want to just finish saying where and when to use, when it's not to do those things in the browser. Well, remember, the agent is per tab. So each tab where you have an agent, you're actually loading the resources there. So 1 gigabyte of model, blah, 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 blah. Also, the models can be big. And in the browser, you should not run bigger models. You can run locally, et cetera, but you always have your resources constrained. There's a latency there. You can cache models in the browser, but the first time it's going to download those 700, 800, 900 megabytes. And also, remember, your users, are they going to be running on phones? Are going to be running on devices? They're bad network and things like this. One cool scenario, though, is that if you combine all of that with Beware, then you have also a way to ship native apps with those tools, right? Which is a very, very interesting use case. I didn't get in time to do that, but I will try soon. Also, I'm very sorry, but the slides in the demo are not ready yet. They will be probably by the end of the day or tomorrow, and I will put on my GitHub, and I will post on X, and I actually will ask Anaconda to post as well. This is probably going to be the wrong repo. I blame it on the model. It's going to be fpliger talks, where I keep my talks. Or maybe I just create a new one. Last thing, if you want to get out with one message, an agent is a loop. Python write loops, so browser is a great way to ship them, right? But in general, a loop is just an agent is just a loop. Thank you so much for your attention, and if you have questions, I'm here. Oh, I forgot one thing. Sorry. I always do a selfie with the audience. So if you all are kind enough to raise your hands, we'll pose together and say hi. Hi. Nice. Thank you so much. You have time for one question. I have time for one question. Or maybe two if we're quick. Don't be shy. Yeah. Microphone is right there. Thank you.
How did you render the UI? Was that PyScript?
Yes.
All those panels. So
the UI is PyScript, and most of it is vibe coded, and the PyScript generates all the dynamic things. It uses basically DOM and CSS. But yeah, PyScript. Any other questions? All right. Thank you all so much. Have a great conference.